Yo, what's up? Oh, you got it. Okay, there you go. I was gonna give it intro. Can't hear you. I'll give it intro. Oh, there you go.
You
You,
gotta
you're here.
time it. You gotta time it just right between the intro music and
Yeah,
hitting and going back to the socials. Sometimes it could be
yeah,
a little nerve wracking, but I'm not
yeah,
nervous,
yeah.
and neither is Idris. Oh boy, the title of tonight's show is called Casual Combo, not to be confused with Casual Convo. Unfortunately, our friends at the Casual Convo show did postpone their show tonight because one of the important cogs would have not been available to make it. Idris has a story to tell. Floor is yours, big guy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am not a violent person. I'm a 60-year-old man trying to just chill. But for some reason, someone from Facebook felt they needed to come at me because they didn't like me. The way I joke on Facebook, everyone knows me. I'm a comedian on Facebook. I just have fun. But he felt like he wanted to come at me because he didn't like it. So I'm minding my business, eating. He rolls up on me, him and his boys. Now I explained to his boys what happened, how he is upset because I make jokes on Facebook, even though none of the jokes are pertaining to him. And I let them know. Now, if y'all want to jump me because he couldn't take a joke that went to him, okay, that's cool. I let him know, but it's not going to end right for no one. So as I'm talking to his homies, he takes a shot at me. Unfortunately, I'm not Mike Tyson and he's not Jake Paul. He missed. And unlike Mike Tyson, when he faked the Tyson combo because he didn't want to knock out Jake Paul, I didn't fake it. I landed two right here, one here, then the last one right on the cheek. He was on his way down on the second punch, but I something the one right here just for good measure, just to be like, hey, take this with you. So he's down there sleeping on the floor, well on the ground, and I'm talking to his homies, explaining what happened while he's laying there. They were like, you know something? We're out. They left him. The police came. We talked. Went uptown. I went to see the magistrate. Magistrate said, "You can go home." Why? Because this man had a warrant on him, and I had people who witnessed the whole thing. Like, have a good day. The cop that arrested me happened to come in. He said, "Look, after I finish booking this guy, I'm gonna take you to your car." We drove. I told him what happened. He sent me a Facebook request because he said he liked my humor. Today was a good day. I got a chance to see, do I still have it? And at 60 years old, just like, well, George Foreman was 40 something, but still came back. 2 years older than Mike Tyson. But I landed the first round knockout. Jake Paul, you're next.
And this is the thing. You said that the gentleman in the police station made a mention that they felt like they should have paid you
Yeah,
because this dummy put himself in a position where
they
you're
won't get up.
underestimating somebody,
Yeah.
get knocked into tomorrow.
Hmm.
So you're looking to do something violent.
Right.
You come in like a punk because you have extra people. Yeah, an interesting day. Because when I saw Casual Convo got postponed,
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, maybe Coco's not feeling well or Idris," and that's actually
Mhm.
why I had called you because
Yeah.
I wasn't intending to do a show tonight. But then when I said, "Wait a minute, I'm home early enough,
Mhm.
got some chores done," you know, baby
Yeah.
and the missus are both kind of knocked out, so I said, "You know
Mhm.
what? Let's do a show." And as you can see, Richie Bosco inside of one round, and I'm telling you, Jake Paul, he's not gonna take
Mm-mm.
no payoff for 20 mil or 15 mil not to put you down.
I'm coming to
He
knock your ass out.
he'll take 1 mil and still put you down.
I'm taking one
That's
mil.
the thing, man. What is it with this social media that makes people feel like they can't get punched in the face? And mind you, you didn't even start this altercation.
No. But there's still one more guy out there that who wants some of me too. But I wouldn't. Hopefully, he'll see this video and he'll be like, maybe I don't need to mess with him. And I'm not saying I'm a tough guy, everybody. I think I need to change mics.
Going to give Idris a chance to change up the mics and continue to hear about this. I mean, this is better action than the stuff that Netflix subjected us to. Also on the show, while Idris prepares his mic, we're going to be hitting on the Saturday and Thursday slate for the NFL. The bigger NFL portion will be coming before the Sunday slate. We're also going to be hitting on Aaron Rodgers and Ryan Clark. War of words. I think both guys are a little bit off in terms of how they feel. I think both of them are being a little sensitive, but definitely something that I want to get into. I know Idris wants to speak on Caitlin Clark tonight as well. New York Rangers making the trade. I'm not convinced for the better. And we're going to hit on the New York Yankees adding Cody Bellinger and having a pretty good week post Juan Soto. Idris, is your mic all right? Going to give him a second.
Can you hear me now? Uh-oh. Now?
You're good, brother.
All right.
All right. Anything else that you want to wrap up on your first round knockout, or are we going to be moving it along?
My fight was shorter than Mike Tyson and Marvis Frazier. Jake Paul, I'm calling you out. This would be my first professional fight. I was an amateur, but this would be my first professional fight. Let's go, man.
All right. And I do recall that when we did the profile of Bosco from the Bronx, you did mention that an injury to your hand ultimately prevented you from taking the next step. But, we ran into something like this in Jacksonville where, sometimes people underestimate. Like somebody thought you were a little guy, and ultimately that person was a very little guy. I'm not even sure if he was as tall as our buddy's wife, but, shouts out Mike Lennon, a.k.a. Gary Teeter. Miss you, big dog. Haven't seen you all football season. But truth be told, we have not missed anything together this year.
Right.
Would have been a lot of depression. I'm going to start this up with Cody Bellinger. The Yankees get their center fielder. Big time move for the New York Yankees, a move that they needed to make. This pushes Aaron Judge back to right, where I truly believe that he does belong.
Mm-hmm.
And it appears that the Yankees are not done. We still have to address first base without question.
Yeah.
Got some good players out there. You could steal Pete Alonso from the Mets. You got Christian Walker out there. You have a switch hitter in Anthony Santander, who has played previously with the Orioles. He's still available. Gleyber Torres reunion, not ideal, but possible. Yeah. But the Yankees are also contemplating bringing in Alex Bregman. And I got to say this. My boss mentioned this to me. I believe it was today, actually. And I was not aware of this. And in our group thread for the show, Zappy and shed a little light on this. Giancarlo Stanton dated Cody Bellinger's wife back in the day. I was not aware.
I wasn't until I seen it in the thread.
I knew that there was some heat between the two.
Yeah, but I didn't know I didn't know it was that.
Yeah, and I'm saying to myself, this could potentially be slightly awkward at the Yankee family functions, but people that are grown move on.
Yeah.
But knowing that, I gotta say, number one, Cody, don't step to Big G. It could be a similar result to the skirmish in Mr. Salam's neck of the woods. I would not. You couldn't pay me to step to Big G. No, sir.
Nah, Big G's he's a monster.
Indeed. Yeah. Guy looks like a freaking Greek god.
Freaking jacked, yeah. Now that he lost his weight and trimmed up. I mean, he's always been diesel, but he's real top heavy. And you don't want to fight a guy top heavy. They hit hard.
No, not at all. Not at all. I like this move, man. It gives the Yankees legitimacy defensively in center field. You do not want your captain, the face of your franchise, who is a very big human being,
Mm-hmm.
manning down center. It's going to
Right.
shorten his career
Yeah.
because ultimately, like many sluggers, the latter part of this Aaron Judge contract will eventually see him DHing more. I mean, who
Yeah.
knows? He could potentially even be a first baseman down the road.
Hey, never know.
But I like that. Love the
Mhm.
Max Fried move, bringing in a lefty.
Yes.
Getting Williams of the Brewers to close out games, that is good stuff.
Yeah. I hope we get Pete Alonso. I'm thinking hopefully he'll look at it like they brought in Soto. Soto's gonna be the face of the franchise. Let me move across town to where we know who the face of the franchise is, but those are the Yankees.
Yeah, Alonso is an intriguing move. If I have a choice between he and Christian Walker, I
Oh
would
yeah.
choose Walker for one simple reason. And I find him to be, well, not find him. He is a better defensive option at
Yeah.
first base.
Yeah.
However,
Alonso.
Alonso's going to bring a lot of buzz, especially with Soto going to the other side.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot's going over the wall with I put Alonso in there in Yankee Stadium, man. Golly.
And I'll be honest. If we add a Bregman at third, that once again another bit of awkwardness because of the cheating scandal with the Houston
Yeah.
Astros. But if we do indeed bring in Bregman, I honestly believe that it really completes the corners. You know, Jazz could go to second, where I feel that he's more comfortable, even though he did do a good job at third.
He did good. He did a good job at third base. Yeah.
As of right now, Jason Dominguez is penciled in at left field. I like the kid, but given his injury history,
yeah,
I would prefer Dominguez being the fourth outfielder. We also still have Trent Grisham, a guy that came over in the Soto deal. Yeah, we brought him back. Stay tuned. But right now, the way I look at it, I like what the Mets are doing offensively. I personally think they will retain Pete Alonso. At least they should.
Yeah, they should.
But they got to get another co-ace to stand by Senga. That it is a big fall off after him.
Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah, I think Alonso will stick around. And I said if the Mets are smart, they'll keep him because you got Alonso and you got Alonso first. You got Soto out there. You got two bats also. So. But it's the Mets, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
No disrespect to the Mets. It's the Mets, and for some reason, and Cowboy fans, please don't take this as a shot at y'all because our team sucks too. But with the Mets, they always find a way to shoot themselves in the foot.
I personally think that whether it was by chance or whether it was by design, and I'm probably going to go with chance because I'm not going to give our regime all that much credit either. But I will say this. If you were willing to pay Juan Soto that kind of money and you fell short of getting him, there is literally no reason why their approach this year shouldn't have been their approach for previous years, because it's no secret that we got as far as we did because of the big two in that lineup, Judge and Soto. And then in the playoffs, it turned into a big three. You sprinkle in Giancarlo Stanton, who is a different animal in the playoffs. But pitching wins championships, Idris. You know this. And right now, even thinking about that bridge after the fifth, sixth inning, Loaiziga, to Weaver, to Williams, and do not count out the Yankees potentially getting Tanner Scott. Good offseason so far. And it's not common that you could say that when you lose a top three candidate for AL MVP. But as much as I do like the year that Juan Soto gave us, and as much as I'm going to miss watching him play because he is an exciting player in that lineup, I do believe that when you take into consideration that he is a mid outfielder, I mean, definitely not great, not terrible, but nothing spectacular. And outside of being that great plate presence, you're talking a 285 career average. This is not 300. This is not 330. This is a 285 career average. Coming off a career year in a season where a decent amount of his shots went to either the left porch or the right porch, the two shortest in MLB, which means the power numbers were up. Citi Field is a bigger ballpark on a lot of dimensions. And I'm not saying it's all about the home run ball. It's about the on-base percentage. It's about driving and runs. Soto has always done that at a good clip, but my God, that's a lot of money. More than Shohei Ohtani, that is crazy to me. A man who just became the first member of his own club, the 50-50 club, and he hasn't thrown a pitch for the Dodgers yet. He's going to be doing that again too, folks. But to get a contract bigger than Ohtani when Ohtani brings the Babe Ruth variable, I'm sorry, Mets, you overpaid. That's all I got there. That's all I got there. Now, Idris, I know you did want to speak on Caitlin Clark. What's burning on your mind? Can't hear you, buddy. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
You good?
All right. Caitlin Clark. Everyone knows I'm a Caitlin Clark fan. Been a fan of her since she was in high school. In high school, her last year in high school. Extraordinary player. She's got a lot of flack from a lot of people who say that she is only famous because she's white and all this other stuff, which is garbage. The girl earned her way to the WNBA. She pretty much brought people to the WNBA this season. They didn't see these numbers in the WNBA, not even their inaugural season. The Indiana Fever set records. The first 3 or 4 games of the season, more tickets they sold the whole season last year. Every arena she went to sold out. When they played the Aces, they had to move the game somewhere else because of her. She won Woman of the Year. And even though I'm a fan, I think she deserved it because she basically put a whole league on her back. She generated the money to where the women don't fly coach. They fly in private jets and everything else. That was her. Yes, Angel Reese was there, but who made the biggest impact? She took that team to their first playoff win in 8 years. Her shooting, her passing, everything. She led all rookies in almost every category except block shots. She won Woman of the Year, deservingly so. The coach of the Minnesota Lynx basically shot her down saying, I don't understand why, this is not verbatim, I don't understand why she wins Woman of the Year when it's a whole league. The whole league should be Woman of the Year on time. And I'm going to call bullshit on that, excuse my language. Reason being, I don't remember, I've been watching sports since 1969. The first sports game I ever watched was the Super Bowl, the Jets and the Colts. Didn't know what was going on, but I liked it. I was 4 years old, 5 years old. I can't remember when a whole team made Person of the Year on any magazine, unless they won a championship.
Yeah.
They celebrated the team.
Yeah.
But Time always awards one person. To say the stuff about her is reckless. This girl has been humbled the entire season. She's always taking the credit and passing it on to her teammates. And it's a shame that, and a friend of mine, shout out to Coco, Chanel Nicholson, she told me this, that women are the biggest haters of women. This girl had endured stuff from Cheryl Swoops on down to whoever. Shout out to Gabby Douglas supporting her. Coco Golf, all of them supporting her. And I know what it's about. She had said that she did benefit from her privilege. But she said, we got to uplift the black players in the league because they built the league. Not understanding why, I don't understand why Cheryl Swoops is quiet now when she basically said, look, y'all built this league. And Cheryl Swoops was the biggest mouth. But the biggest hate. And when I say hate, I don't mean the jealous. I'm talking about this pure hatred. And even my people do a lot of shade at Caitlin Clark. And they're going to call me a sellout. But see, what separates me from you guys, and not you, Richie, because you know you cool. To my me and my people, I see the sport. I'm not looking at the color. I see the sport. And what I saw was a girl that came into the league and put the league on her back and remained humble the entire season. She never took credit for not one game. Aaliyah Boston got the credit. This is my girl here. Without her, we don't do what we do. That's what she did the whole season. I didn't earn my way to the Olympics. She said that. I didn't earn my way there. I got to do more. That's being humble. And for the women of the league to trash her like that when she's putting the money in your pockets. No one cared about the WNBA until this year. This year. Nobody gave a damn about the WNBA. But now people who didn't watch it got so much to say. Leave the girl going, let her do her thing. Leave it alone. She's trying to build a brand for everybody. Let her build it. Stop trying to shoot down what she's doing for you. That's my rant.
I'm going to interject and add on, piggyback for a second. One of the things that's bothered me about the WNBA since its inception is that, number one, you'll have casual fans or just people who like to talk shit essentially say that, you know, they don't support this league, meaning predominantly men. They don't support this league. I know a person like you buy their merch. You watch their games. You also watch women's college ball. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, you know, you actually see the careers of these women before they get to that next tier. My mother, back when the Orlando Miracle were here, she was a season ticket holder.
You just don't buy season tickets just to buy season tickets. You buy them for a reason.
Yeah, my mother was a big supporter of the defunct Orlando Miracle.
They need to come
Letitia
back.
Sales was one of their main stars during that era. And this is going back. You're talking about the Rebecca Lobo era.
Yeah.
Initially, the WNBA tried to make Rebecca Lobo one of the top faces. She didn't pan out for the New York Liberty, who are the current champions. Another issue I take is that up until the Caitlin Clark era, which is brand new, 1 year in, this league never turned a profit.
Never.
The NBA has always kind of made this their baby. And, you know, they include the likenesses of the women in the 2K games. They have made a concerted effort to push the women's league. But what bothers me, not just with the Caitlin Clark haters, but even taking it a step further, I'll call out the WNBA champions for just a moment.
Mr. Nass in the building.
What's going on, John? Good to see you here. Thanks for popping in. We're actually talking about WNBA here. What has annoyed me about this, too, is even, like, shade that they threw at the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
And, I mean, not for nothing, guys. You're sharing that arena. That's the Mecca. You are sharing that with an iconic franchise. Yes, the Knicks haven't won since 1973. I know. I get it. But, you know, that is the epicenter of NBA playoff basketball whenever the Knicks are good. You ask any player that goes into that building, the magic that you feel when you play in the world's most famous arena.
Yeah.
And there were players on the Liberty throwing shade, and I get it. It's a competitive fuel. But I think what I'm trying to say in a polite way is, let's try to not bite the hand that feeds you, so to speak. And as far as like the older players in the league, I too don't see color when it comes to any of this. I see talent, I see drive, I see accountability, I see unselfishness. But true leaders never want to be at the forefront of all the credit taken. You see it with an Aaron Judge. You know, you even see it with a guy like a Patrick Mahomes, believe it or not, who often credits his offensive line and his great coaches. You know, just to name a couple of guys. And the thing is like, I'm frustrated because everybody should be pleased because they were putting in the work, you know, putting the nails in the wall, so to speak, when this league did not take off. But when you get someone that and her rival turned friend who captivated the nation during the women's NCAA tournament, which outranked the men's, by the way.
Yeah.
You're talking about the female version of something that could be as intense as Bird versus Magic.
Right.
You know, and there should be no it almost makes me feel like the spew that Aaron Rodgers was saying at a turn is more applicable to this, where people are trying to stay relevant. Because I get competitive nature. I mean, you saw the Maris kids that weren't exactly doing backflips that Aaron Judge was going to break the record, but there's a backstory to that. Roger Maris dealt with a lot of hell.
Yeah.
You know, and not to mention the steroid stuff and then tainting that record. Roger Maris died before that was the recognized record. There's a lot of variables, a lot of different variables as to why the Maris kids were somewhat bitter.
Yeah.
You know, and it's good convo, but you know, while talking about what we deem to be trying to stay relevant, I gotta get on this Aaron Rodgers, Ryan Clark thing. I know Cam Newton also said his 2 cents, and I have not agreed with Cam much. But while I could both find fault in each party, I'm more on the side of Ryan Clark here for the simple fact that he made a good point. He essentially said, as an analyst, the New York Jets have to move on next year with a new quarterback for a litany of reasons, one of the main ones being that they're going to have a new regime. Aaron Rodgers, on his weekly spot on the Pat McAfee show, in my opinion, really got in his feels.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, Aaron, we know you have a Super Bowl MVP. You have a tie for the most league MVPs. You are a first ballot Hall of Famer. We know all about it. But the reality is, since you put on that jersey and brought in all the heightened expectations for a franchise that has been thirsting for a Super Bowl for over 5 decades, and you did not deliver or so much as even look like part of the solution.
It didn't even contend.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. And it's like, from a football standpoint, Ryan Clark is being logical. I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers is finished completely, because every great player that plays that quarterback position always has the ability to give you that one last punch and remind people. We saw it with Kurt Warner. A lot of people thought Kurt Warner was cooked when the Giants took a chance on him. Ultimately, he got back into Hall of Fame relevancy with the Arizona Cardinals. We saw it with Joe Montana. A lot of people thought Joe Montana was cooked. He goes to KC and reminds people.
Peyton Manning.
Could be a bump in the road.
Yeah, Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning. I mean, the neck injury, nobody thought he was even going to play football again. But
Russell Wilson.
Ryan Clark basically went in on Aaron Rodgers and said, you are essentially telling me that I don't have a valid opinion, even though I played in between the lines. What makes me different from your buddy McAfee? McAfee was a punter. He played in the league. See, that I'm okay with this, what John's saying about what Rodgers said. That remains to be seen about the mentor thing, though. I know what he said.
Yeah.
I know what he said, but he was none pleased when the Green Bay Packers drafted Jordan Love.
Right.
And I'll be honest, similar to the guy that he replaced towards the end of his Packer tenure, he started becoming the diva that Brett Favre became. And it has infiltrated his Jet years. And he will be playing for someone else next year. He's still Aaron Rodgers, folks. Not the same Aaron Rodgers. Somebody's going to employ him, but Idris.
Yeah.
Are you on anybody's side on this matter? Or do you think they're both in their feels a little? Because I know Ryan Clark a lot of times gets easily offended too, but I'm curious to see where you lie on this matter.
I'm kind of on Ryan Clark's side, but I think they're both in their feelings. With Aaron Rodgers, I think he'll be on a roster next year. He may not be with the Jets, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Giants brought him over. Really, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't.
Yeah, he'll be on a roster. I mean, he's playing better than he did early in the season. He's playing much better. So it goes to show he still has it. But he's not that Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Now you have to put the talent around him. And see, the Giants, I mean, not the Jets, they gave him what he wanted. Randall Cobb, okay, we got you.
They got all his homeboys and brought him over.
Yep, Devontae Adams, you got the coach, got him. I mean, the OC got him. Everybody you wanted, they brought over, and you did nothing. You still under 500, way under 500. You still hadn't done nothing. I think they're both in their fields a bit. I think, but I kind of side with Ryan Clark because this Aaron Rodgers and Pat McAfee thing, it's a circus to me, man. I was a Pat McAfee fan when he played. He's tough as hell. And
this is good. I like what John's saying here.
Right.
Guys,
right.
Make it a point to check out the Basement Show with Mr. Nast. These guys do a great job. He has a nice team.
Yeah, he does.
You know, ladies' night, trivia.
But Mr. Nash, Minnesota ain't going for that this time. Nah, we got JJ McCarthy and we got Danny Dimes backing them up. Well, we're good.
Yeah, that's the thing, bro. I think Sam Darnold's going to hit free agency. Just my opinion.
Sam Darnold might be in New York or back in Frisco.
Frisco's not out of the question. I see Darnold that's going to get that one payday, and it would be ironic to see him succeed in Giant Blue, considering that he had a very unenviable situation, especially with Adam Gase, when the Jets were just a completely dysfunctional organization.
Dude, hold up. Before we go any further, when Adam Gase gave that press release, people should have known right then, oh my God, they're in trouble. He looked like he was so lit. He looked so hot. His eyes were like, and I'm like, what did he do in Miami?
I was like, did this dude just like drink like 4 bottles of codeine and decide to talk to the media?
and a couple of them energies. I mean, I was like, what did he do in Miami for the Jets to say, come on in New York, we got you? Nothing.
Unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. But the Jets but this is the crazy thing. The Jets had all the back pages. Yes. And it's exciting when you bring in a future Hall of Famer, no matter what his age is. And I mean, after seeing how it worked for Tampa, you could kind of understand why the Jets wanted to go that route. We saw the Rams trade for Stafford.
And we took it right to the Super Bowl.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So same thing.
Yeah, there was a legitimate path here.
Mm-hmm.
Where getting that veteran sometimes makes sense, and even allocating a lot of draft picks and kind of shorten your draft capital for the bigger game, which is an instant win. I get it. But personally, if Aaron Rodgers is the man that I would like him to be, he needs to own up a little bit and say, you know what, guys? I have failed miserably these 2 years, but I'm going to come back for a third year and show you that I'm not done and stay right where he is. If he wants to prove people wrong instead of taking that circus to another city. Because I'll be honest with you, his options are not as wide as many believe, but I do think there's at least 3 teams in the league that would definitely take him.
I think with Rodgers, like with Peyton, Stafford, and Brady, in their first year, they took. I think Peyton took the second year, or whatever, but they was able to jump in there and win with those teams because Peyton, you know how Peyton was right here. You're gonna we're gonna do it. He's
definitely cerebral. I mean, that's one of the few players in the history of the league that you can make an argument and say never needed an offensive coordinator.
Right, and with Stafford had the tools, and he was a team player. He was that guy. Like he just needed that team around him. We know how Brady was. Brady's like, look, this is the way we're gonna do it. Let's do this together. Ba 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 ba. This is how we're gonna run it. And then he's like, okay, you're the leader. We're gonna follow you. To where Rodgers is not that he's not that leader where people say, we're on board with this guy. Take us to the promised land. because he
The
doesn't.
thing that turns me off with him
Mhm.
is that he's become, well, he always kind of was this guy, but it's become more noticeable
Mm.
that he is very quick to blame X, Y, and Z for the failure. Say what you want about Tom Brady. One thing that I will give Tom Brady credit for
Mm-hmm.
is that he never blamed others for team losses.
Mm-mm.
You know, Rodgers gives you like that stinky passive-aggressive look if you
Yeah.
drop a pass.
Yeah.
You know, there. And then the Devontae Adams thing, that's even more comical. Brings him in. What did they offer him, a Taco Bell at MetLife? And, you know, but seriously,
Right.
like it's become a circus, and it's one of the few things that has comforted me during this real shit era of Giant football.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that those guys are probably more miserable than us because they actually came in with expectations.
Right. They were Super Bowl. They had that in their mind. Oh, we're
And
going.
I must admit, I drank a little bit of the Kool-Aid
I did too.
last year.
I took a little
and
bit.
Picked them to win the AFC. I truly did believe that on paper this was a team that could do some things because they won more games, believe it or not, with Zach Wilson.
You know what? I think last year was his best. I think if he didn't get hurt last year, I think they had a better chance.
They had some juice last year, and that was evaporated. You know what that reminded me of, Idris? This might ring a bell. I think it was the 99 season.
Okay.
After losing the AFC title game to the Denver Broncos, who ultimately won the Super Bowl. That was John Elway's last season.
Yep.
The very next year, Jets come back, Super Bowl aspirations galore. I believe they opened against New England. This is still the Bledsoe era.
And blasted them.
First, second play of the game, right in the beginning of the game, Vinny Testaverde with the torn Achilles.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That was it.
That was it. Just like that.
That was it. That was
little known fact. I mean, it might be a little more known now, but Vinny Testaverde's father was actually one of the main architects on the Twin Towers.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. Vinny Testaverde, Long Island product. One of the good guys. One of the true good guys in the NFL. A guy that I always had a lot of admiration for. We got 3 games. Thursday Night Football, we'll start there. We're going to cover 3 tonight. Got the Los Angeles Chargers hosting the Denver Broncos. Chargers are coming off a massive beatdown at the hands of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who currently lead the South. Idris, I'll be honest with you. The Chargers are not in danger yet. But if they come out flat here against a very defensive-minded, mentally tough Denver Bronco team, who's not coming off their best performance either, I think the Chargers might have some issues.
I agree. I actually got Denver winning this game. It's just it goes back to my thing with Justin Herbert. Good quarterback, but he's just not. He reminds me of Trevor Lawrence. It's like it's like he hit a wall. It's like, dude, it's like he hit a wall.
That's valid. That's valid, bro.
I mean, he's a good quarterback. Agile, got a good arm. I mean, but it's like he hit. It's like with Jameis Winston. He got to that level, and that's it. He can't go any further. It's like Dak Prescott. We got right here, and that's it. This is all I have right here. And Dak Prescott's a better quarterback. Let me get that out. But it's like they hit a wall. It's like he hit a wall. Justin Herbert's like, this is it. This is all I got. In fact, I see Bo Nix, another Oregon quarterback, actually progressing faster than what Justin Herbert was.
Herbert did win.
Consider his draft spot that he's drafted.
Herbert, the draft spot does weigh some value because I'll be honest with you, I think Herbert mainly won the Rookie of the Year because of the unfortunate injury to Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
a lot of people forget that Joe Burrow didn't win Rookie of the Year that year.
Right,
it was actually Justin Herbert, but Burrow was on his way, and then what a response coming back the next year and going to the bowl.
Right to the bowl. Yeah,
I think he's the second best quarterback in the NFL right now behind Josh Allen. A lot of people probably roll their eyes because Josh Allen doesn't have the hardware, but I personally think that no team on a week-to-week basis asks more out of anyone than Josh Allen.
And what team has been beating Josh Allen for the last few years? KC. Cincinnati beating one. The two teams that got to the Super Bowl are the teams that's been knocking off Buffalo. So
Yes,
it's not
indeed.
like Josh Allen
So
sucks.
there's a couple of ways to look at it. I mean,
Mhm.
now that you mention that, the only team that Josh Allen lost to in his career in the playoffs, to my recollection, that didn't win the Super Bowl, I believe, was the Deshaun Watson-led Houston Texans, if I'm not mistaken.
It was, yep.
Or go to the Super Bowl, you know.
That Texan team, yeah.
Yeah, mind you, both those teams were trying to lose that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of mistakes made in that game.
Yeah.
Mr. Nast, let me go back to Rodgers just for a quick second because I did miss this comment. Wanted to circle back. Rodgers will never admit he needs to do a better job. He'll just go inside his dark hideous in the offseason. He ain't lying. He ain't lying.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not far off of John's prediction. I got the Chargers doing a little better offensively, but I'm gonna go Denver 20. I'll stick at 24. I'm gonna go Denver 24, the Chargers 20, but I still think Denver wins the game.
Yeah, I'm going Denver 24-21. Yeah.
Right now, Denver's just playing a little better because I think it's encouraging when your quarterback has a rare, rough one. Now, of course, it helps when Jonathan Taylor decided to not bring the football with him in the end zone. That was, you talk about hideous. That was something else.
The pick six.
Yeah, like what are these clowns doing, man? I'm not calling Jonathan Taylor a clown, but I'm like, come on, guys.
God, he threw it. I mean, Anthony Richardson was standing right there, and he was like,
looking at him crazy. Yeah. No, but Denver, what I like about this Denver team is that they play that real grinded out style, field position. They have an exceptional corner in Patrick Surtain, who I think is going to give Ladd McConkey a hell of a hard time.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I got to give Sean Payton some credit. This truly might be his best coaching job.
That's what I was going to say, because I didn't expect Denver to win 5 games this year.
No, nor did I. I didn't think very highly of Knicks out of college, and I'll admit that I was wrong on the kid.
Me too. I thought it would take a couple of years for him to get going, and with Sean Payton, I used to see him as another version of Mike McCarthy. However, looking at the job he's doing this year with this team, they started out slow, and all of a sudden, boom! I'm like, I might have to take that back, because he's taking Bo Nix and just, golly.
And the thing is, it had to happen because you spent so much capital with acquiring Sean Payton, then so much money with Russell Wilson, and then a lot of people were kind of side-eyeing the Broncos with the way that they handled the Wilson situation, a guy who came to work every day and, you know, brought some class into the building.
He had a good year, actually.
He did have a good year. He had a good year followed by that culminated in a shitty game against a bad New England team. And, you know, that was completely financial. It reminded me of what the Giants just did with Danny Dimes, and it reminded me also to a level of what we saw the Raiders do with Derek Carr a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You know, but
I bet you the Raiders still had Derek Carr now, though.
Yeah, no lie. No lie. Anybody. Even Jay Schroeder, for that matter.
Oh, shoot.
We are all on the Broncos for this.
Just go back to Tom Marinovich. I mean, shoot. No, I'm joking.
Sorry, Zach. The only Charger fan that I really know. I'm sorry, buddy. I don't have you guys completely falling out of the playoffs yet, mainly because Kellen Moore's not there. However, you guys need to tighten up. I'm a little worried about you guys. I think Denver gets the road dub, and I've said it on my solo show the other day. I actually believe that Denver might have what it takes to knock off the defending world champions. I mean, it's common that the Chiefs start coming alive this time of the year, but let's not have too many illusions. They beat the Cleveland Browns, guys.
Yeah, we beat the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, even we did that. But the reality is it was Kansas City's most complete game. But if there's a team early in the playoffs that I think could knock out the Chiefs, be careful with them. We're not covering the Chiefs tonight, but it does look like Patrick Mahomes will be indeed playing yet again. And I love the competitive fire in him, but sometimes I think you got to protect him from himself.
Yeah, because you still got the playoffs, man.
I mean, I'm happy that we're still going to be able to have Shed here on the show for a couple more weeks. But his availability will be a little easier. That he's not going to have to start. But bottom line is, you have a quality backup in Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
So I would not rush back Mahomes. You need him for the playoffs, but I get it. The competitive fire in him. He's one of those guys that will do anything to get on the field, stay on the field, and I respect that. What else do we have here? We have Baltimore Ravens taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the two Saturday games. Oh, man. TJ Watt is injured right now, so we're going to have to keep tabs and see how it works out with TJ Watt. Pittsburgh has been the beneficiaries lately, not last week against the Eagles, but in general, of finding ways to win these ugly games. But I'll tell you the truth. If there was ever a time for the Baltimore Ravens to have them right where they want them, it is this particular game.
Yeah.
First game was ugly.
Oh, yeah.
But the Ravens were right there shot for shot with them. They came up slightly small. The reason I'm going to pick the Ravens here is because friend of the show, Chris Dixon, who, by the way, happy birthday to you, Chris.
Oh, man.
We were ribbing each other going into the year. We were having some fun with each other.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, Chris. You spoke a little out of turn about...
Isn't he a doubt? But I thought he's a Cowboy fan.
There's a story behind that. Originally Cowboy fan, and he still supports them, but a resident of Baltimore for XYZ at the inception of the Ravens. So I get it.
Okay.
I get it. But having said that, as the Ravens go, this is the week to catch the Steelers.
Yeah.
The Steelers are offensively challenged. I want to see Russell Wilson have a vintage kind of game. But the reason why I'm going to pick the Ravens and give them all this praise is because if they lose, then I can continue to have more fun with Chris about how the Ravens cannot beat the Steelers in the Lamar Jackson era.
Yeah, I got a couple of people I like to hit like that. My buddy Judy and J. Bear Jackson, the biggest mouth of Raven fans, Mr. J. Bear Jackson. But I think the Ravens are going to win because of the TJ Watt situation. Not having him over there is a huge loss. Because TJ Watt is just like his brother JJ. He's going to be right there waiting for you to come. Or if you're not coming to him, he's coming to get you.
Yes.
Or other.
And I'll be honest, when it's all said and done, I think TJ's a better ball player.
Yeah, I think so
That's
too.
saying something because JJ's a Hall of Famer.
JJ was a hell of he's Mr. Sackman. And I think they're playing in Baltimore this time. So
yes, they are.
Yeah, I'm going to go with them. Like I said, if TJ Watt was playing, I think it would be a little closer, but I'm going to go with Baltimore 31, Pittsburgh 21.
All right. I like it. Idris, who are the Chiefs playing?
I forgot.
I know, so did I, because we're talking about the Chiefs, but I'm thinking about them playing the Broncos, and it just literally slipped my mind.
Let me see.
If you wouldn't mind, just complete brain fog on who the Chiefs are playing. It really just slipped my mind. And I'm going through my Rolodex trying to remember. Oh, they're playing the Texans. Houston Texans traveling to KC. That's our third game of the week that we're going to cover. Joe Mixon showing up on the injury report. So I have him in my big money league. I do want to make sure that he's going to be all right. But a lot of times, the questionable tag just simply comes out of a pre-existing knick-knack that is still carrying. I'm confident that barring something bad, Joe Mixon should be able to play. As the game goes, I'm still not impressed with the Texans. I don't mean to sound like a hater or a hater of that entire division, but what's the Texans' big vintage victory this year? The 3-point game in late September, early October against Buffalo?
That might be it.
They have not impressed me this year. I think the world of D'Amico Ryans as a coach. However, I do think that C.J. Stroud has regressed this year.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephon Diggs can't really judge whether he was good or bad for the team because of the sheer fact that he got hurt too early. It did look like the other receivers, Tank Dell as well as Nico Collins, were kind of deferring to Stephon.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure how this plays out. I think Stephon might be looking for a new address yet again next year.
I agree, man. When he went there, when he traded there, I was like, I don't know, because Stephon Diggs always wants the ball, and he's not the player he was.
No, sir.
2, 3, 4 years ago. And you look at how good Josh Allen's playing in Buffalo now that he's going, it makes you wonder, okay, we know why Josh Allen was throwing those interceptions now. He was forcing the ball. But now he's not. I think he has 5 interceptions the whole season. I mean,
yeah. Allen has had any other season. Burrow would be right there next to Allen, and any other season, Barkley, who is a running back, would be the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Josh Allen's rushing metrics actually hurt natural running backs.
Yeah.
Similar to Lamar's running metrics when he has been an MVP winner 2 different times. As the game goes, I'm with John Nast here. Steve Spagnuolo is going to cook up enough of exotic confusion for C.J. Stroud to make his fair share of mistakes. I'm still not sold on the Chiefs three-peating. This year looks too familiar that it could indeed be Buffalo's year. But the interesting caveat is when Buffalo played Baltimore, Baltimore really kicked their ass.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And Baltimore is a team that if you go back to last year's AFC title game, they were the more talented teams. If Zappy was here, he would second us on this. They were outcoached.
They were. And Mr. Goofy taunting inside the 5-yard line.
That was bad.
And pushed Baltimore back. And what happened next? Okay. So
then the Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
That's once again.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, Zay Flowers. Yeah.
I like being in the end zone, just not with the football. Yeah, I don't get it. Deshaun Jackson, wherever you are, shouts out to you, sir. You were one giant killer, but not the brightest bulb in the shed.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, with KC, I think they'll do well with Carson Wentz in there. I think Carson Wentz has the right coach around him, the right team around him, and the right quarterback around him. And I think they're gonna throttle Houston, man. I think I'm going with Nass on this. I'm going 28-10, maybe 28-13. But I think I'm giving at least a 14-point spread, at least.
Yeah, I don't see the Texans hitting 20 points. I'm gonna go 30-17 in favor of the back-to-back defending champions here. And I do think Mahomes will play, but whoever gets the start for KC, I think will be good enough.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a little closer if Wentz plays. But the reality is, as long as the Chiefs continue to play their style of game, they're still a tough out. Because nobody said that you had to be super sexy and super impressive to really win these kind of games. Idris, NBA real quick. Who is your biggest disappointment as a team in the league in the early going this year?
It's a good question.
I'm gonna go Philly.
It has to be.
With the progression they made last year, despite the fact that Joel Embiid was showing the wears and tears of his injuries.
Before you go further, let me ask you about Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
I got a lot of help for this. My opinion is this. If his season at the end of the day, he wouldn't be a Hall of Famer.
I tend to agree. But the thing that's weird, though, is that the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame has kind of lowered the bar a little, if you ask me.
Yeah.
at least in my opinion. But in my eyes, he's not a Hall of Famer yet.
Can't stay on the court.
Can't stay on the court. He's not doing the back-to-backs. Nast is with us on this one.
Yeah, if you can't do back-to-back, you can't stay on the court. You can't walk into the Hall of Fame.
I mean, this is a team that I saw last year that I thought overachieved against the more talented Knicks team. And this is a team that had my respect in a very hard-fought series that we were able to squeak out. And Joel Embiid, I got to say, really showed up in that series. But my thing is like,
except when
if you're going to make all these demands, if you're going to make all these demands a la Aaron Rodgers and not be completely about the team, then why don't you do everybody a favor and just demand a trade and get the hell out of there?
Yeah. I wouldn't want him in New York.
Tarnishing and messing up your legacy with all that passive aggression.
Yeah, I wouldn't want him in New York because truthfully, I just don't like his game. You're 7 foot, you're big as you are, but he doesn't play big. He doesn't play dirty big like Giannis does. He doesn't play big. He's just fragile.
To be honest, I'll put it to you like this: he doesn't play dirty big, but I will say he does play dirty because
he plays dirty. Yeah.
I did not go for what he pulled on Mitchell Robinson in last year's playoffs.
Yeah, and like I said, yeah.
And it's not a New York Philly thing, bro. Because real talk, if a Knick would have done that to a Sixer, I would have said the same thing.
Yeah. Because with me, like when I say, like people say, what's the difference between dirty big and dirty? Dirty big is you down there bumping and grinding, you down there fighting, you're trying to, you're trying to get the ball, you dunking, you D'ing up, you bodying up, and dirty is just dirty. Dirty is what he did to Mitchell Robinson. Yeah, I was never a fan of him, and I'm just not. I think he has a real good game, but he doesn't want to play back-to-backs. He stays hurt. I'm like, he's not a Hall of Famer. He got Hall of Fame talent, but he's not a Hall of Famer at this point.
No, I tend to agree. Want to give a shout out to another podcaster, one of our good friends, Mr. Sergio Rodriguez, recently also celebrated a birthday. He had a really cool hot take about how he feels that Steph Curry has ruined the NBA, and not in a negative way. He made it clear and reiterated multiple times that he has the utmost respect for Steph Curry. But what he means by that is in a league that is dominated by big men, Steph is kind of like a unicorn. And where he said that he messed up the game is that now you have multiple teams that legitimately cannot shoot the rock.
And trying to shoot.
And Steph, in that point of influence, the greatest of the great do influence the game. Lawrence Taylor did it in football. He also got left tackles paid because he made them valuable. But I got to say, Sergio, really some excellent baseball takes. But between his breakdown of Juan Soto, and I had Sergio on the show back in 22.
I remember.
During Cowboy Giant week. And this man said Dable will be gone by year 3 while he was in the process of having a season that got him Coach of the Year. There were not many people supporting Sergio's take, but Sergio, I got to give you props on that.
Me too. I remember
that. Definitely check out the Sergio Rodriguez show on Instagram and Spotify, other friends of the show, as well as the Basement Show with Mr. Nass. Casual Convo will definitely be, back in business next week, assuming Idris doesn't go 2 for 2. This is not the Sugar Ray Robinson era, Idris. You can't have 2 fights in a month.
Nah. Every 6 months, man. Every year, once a year. I'm just waiting for Jake Paul, man. Waiting for that call.
Last thought of the night. Capo Caco not pleased with the trade. I think the Rangers are giving up on a player that is in the top 10 at his position. I am not happy about it.
Crazy.
I'm not happy.
Crazy. I'm not. No, that's like,
because there were certain guys on this Ranger team going back to last year and the disappointment losing to the Florida Panthers that I feel could have been approaching, their days being numbered. And 2 of them that come off the top of my head are Mika Zibanejad and Artemi Panarin. When you consider that these are our core guys. The kid line was getting us more action. The kid line was given, the Rangers, I'm not happy right now. That's a big reason why I have not been speaking about them very much. This is a team last year that was the best team in hockey all year long.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This year, the Rangers look like a team that honestly is just a little too comfortable with just being okay. And I'm not sure how I feel about all this. But the Rangers, if they keep playing this way, will find themselves out of the playoffs. I said it now.
Yeah, I don't understand them either, man. I'm like, dude, we were the best last year. We just couldn't beat the Panthers. And the Panthers got hot and won.
And they gave Igor that massive contract.
Yes.
And I get it. I think Igor is the best goalie in hockey.
Oh,
I truly mean that. Not because he plays for my team.
Nah, Igor's my dude.
Yeah. Last year, he should have sued them for lack of support.
Right.
Final thought, or final question, I should say. Idris, young season yet in the NBA, New York Knicks. Who should be the number one moving forward? I know that it's kind of give and go, so to speak, between Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, but I'm an old school head in the sense that I always feel that the point guard needs to be the facilitator, first, foremost, and always. But, the more I see Cat's game, I just can't stop and think that this is literally the best big we've had since Patrick Ewing.
Because he can stretch the floor, too. I mean, his defense is kind of like, but on offense, I mean, he has good defense. And he's good.
It's no worse than Julius Randle.
Oh, no. And they'd say Julius Randle might be out in Minnesota.
Really?
Yeah, I read that today. Minnesota's looking to possibly move on from him. So, I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah. And I'm going to call this now. The Big Ragu will be back in blue and orange within 3 years.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
I'm not going to lie. That hurt my heart a little bit.
It did, me too. It
was a good trade.
I didn't mind Randall going, but I wanted Ragu to stay, man.
Yeah, I didn't really. I mean, I appreciate what Julius Randle did because he was the first piece that got us back to relevancy.
Yeah.
I respect him for that. But the bottom line is the injuries, the lack of hustle, the too much hero ball. I was kind of ready to move on from Julius Randle.
Me too.
But I do want him to succeed, and I do find it unfortunate that he is not exactly thriving elsewhere.
Bring back the Big Ragu. New York is built for him. He's built for New York. Bring him back.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got the Nova kids there. He might have to apologize to Rick. But, families fight, and he and Jalen essentially are family. So, nothing to see here.
Yeah.
For Idris, I'm Richie. Pleasure bringing you the show tonight. Idris, all jokes aside, I am glad that skirmish did not lead to anything more ignorant. And I'm also happy that you dealt with reasonable people that uphold the law.
Yep. Great thing about that. Jake Paul, final words. Give me a shot. But don't give me no fake contract. I'm coming to knock your ass out.
Yeah, we're going to hit on that other goof thing that he has running with McGregor in the near future. Last thing that I want to say before I forget. Shout out to my big sister Nicole's middle daughter, Autumn Barge, one of the newest members of the United States Army.
Hey!
I'm very, very proud of her. Kind of hit a wall.
For her.
Yeah, kind of hit a wall, made a decision. This is a young woman who played softball at a very, very high level, but had some second thoughts about her life trajectory, took a chance, and just killed it. And Autumn, I just want to say that anything you apply yourself to, you always own it and conquer it. And I just want to say that your uncle is incredibly proud of you.
And a fellow Army man myself, I salute you.
Yeah, Mom Dukes is out there. And shouts out to former Baltimore Orioles pitcher, John Means, who unfortunately has dealt with so many things in his career with the Tommy John surgeries But Mom actually crossed paths with him when they were in
What?
South Carolina. And
Whoa,
he
whoa, whoa, whoa,
subscribed.
whoa, whoa. Where was your mama in South Carolina?
They're coming back now. I believe they're in Georgia or possibly Florida now, but she went for the graduation for my niece Autumn.
You tell her she come to South Carolina again, and she don't say, Idris, I'm in South Carolina. We're going to fight.
Well, the reality is, if she would have been in North Carolina, you might have had a second pair of hands at your disposal because Mom niece don't play that either.
I'm about to, we got to talk.
God, that would have been a great headline. The Bronx and Brooklyn products.
Right.
But nah, really, really cool stuff. And thank you, John Means, for subscribing to the channel. I'm a avid baseball fan, and obviously the Orioles are rivals of us, but it's always cool when you cross paths with the pros.
That's dope.
And they want to open their ears and see what we do here. So definitely thank you for subscribing, sir. And I hope that you continue to follow baseball because we've seen so many things happen when guys are hit with unfortunate hardships. We saw it with Scott Kazmir. We've seen guys overcome it. So if it's still in your hearts to continue to play, I hope you do, sir.
Yes, sir. And stay tuned to the show because we talk a lot of baseball.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Have a great night. Announcements to come for our next show, but more than likely, I will be going live on Saturday. I'm going to see who can join me here from our team, but we're going to do a detailed preview of the remaining NFL games. So have a great night, everyone.
Coming next week.
What's that, Idris?
College show coming next week.
Yeah, man. As bowl season continues to heat up, definitely looking forward to that. And my Fighting Irish do have a puncher's chance.
They do.
It's a must-win coming up this week. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. We out for now. Have a great night, everyone.
I don't know what that was.